Hello. How are y'all doing?
Like, we thought this would be about London because it's our biggest event ever, but it doesn't end with London, does it? To be in New York is a dream on top of that, because this is one of the greatest cities in the world. To be here is a privilege. It's bigger than love. We went to Manchester, we went to Dublin, we've been all over with this, and it works for women everywhere.
Off in the sun, burning within my heart and mind.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on? Good?
Filming already? Am I filming? You were kidding.
I'm not kidding.
I was like, how long till he gets off the plane is he filming?
He literally said to me, how long will it be till he starts filming when he shows up? And I said, he'll show up with the camera pointed at me.
Why didn't you tell me Ben was going to be here?
Oh, you didn't even know?
Some things are just, some news is just too big to give up front.
Sam! Hey. How are ya?
We tweeted out for a barbecue place, but they were all too far away. We were trying to do the Texas thing.
We hear your accent, maybe? Your Texas accent in a few minutes? After a drink?
It's terrible.
I love the American one just in general.
It wasn't actually terrible.
It was.
I was doing my Interstellar.
Yes! And he was Matthew McConaughey.
What's the quote where he says, where he goes,
What time's our
We used to dream about or think about a place.
dream about our place in the stars. Now we just look down, wonder about our place in the dirt.
Not bad, not bad. It's not good.
What's the area where there are tons of bars and
Nightlife.
clubs, and it's just like...
Oh, there's 4 or 5 of them at least.
There's one where there's a strip where there's just bar after bar, and there are more ladies than I've ever seen in my life.
There's 2 or 3 of those. Yes.
Really? What
Are
are
they
they
Kenny
called?
Avenue, there's Deep
Where's,
Ellum.
okay, I know where it is. Where's Steel Cowboy?
Oh, that's on Ruth Street. That's just one little bar strip.
No,
Whoa. One little.
that's a little one.
You oughta
bigger ones,
see McKinney Avenue that goes all the way from downtown to almost Highland Park.
Oh God, I don't think I can handle McKinney Avenue. I've had the most wonderful time over the last 2 days here in Dallas. Since I stepped off the plane, it's been non-stop. It's been amazing. I've eaten some barbecue.
So after the barbecue, how do you feel?
How do you feel before?
I'm really full. Like, I'm really full. I had so much.
Can't we should have done it with stuff on his face and like napkins. And like Jessica Simpson in her thing where she has a white shirt and she's like eating ribs.
What happened?
Where are we going? Guide us.
We're going to the top of the ball in Dallas, Texas. So excited. It lights up and there's Wolfgang Puck at the top.
That's not a bad accent. I kind of like that from you.
I'm so glad you said that.
Because you were tripping out.
No, I put my foot up against the wall. The outside doesn't move. So I put my foot against the wall and my foot did this. And I literally thought, wait, how many beers did I just have?
James, very slow time lapse of Dallas right here.
It's hard to tell where the mat ends and his reflecting begins.
I was just going to say that.
What are you saying?
What's the plan for tomorrow? You can just read it out loud, whatever you're texting.
Can you put Ben, Jameson, and Sam on the list to come with me, please? To the Kid Craddock show. Hey, how are you,
Nice to meet you. Oh, you're taller than I thought you would be.
Really?
Yeah.
People say that. I don't. Why is
I
that?
always think I thought you were going to be short.
Why though?
Oh, I thought
For what
he
reason?
appears to be tall.
You sound short on the radio.
Yes, that's it. Where do you want me?
Right here.
Okay, great.
Right now, we have a treat for the ladies. Instead of breaking up with anybody, we want you to get the guy. He wrote the book, Get the Guy. His name's Matthew Hussey, and he's in studio with us right now. Nice to see you in person.
Finally.
Finally.
It's been quite the road.
I can barely look him in the eyes.
Go ahead,
I
Kelly.
can't.
Tell him how you
He's
feel.
just too beautiful.
I feel like we've been online dating for a while.
I know.
And we've finally got our date.
Oh, I'm like flustered. I can't even look at him, Jenna. I'll have to look at you the whole time.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Oh, and by the way, the breaking up with the guy is just as important, I think, than finding a guy.
Yeah,
as
not
finding a
wasting
guy.
time, right?
Yeah, it's forget the guy, which is just as important. Some of the best decisions we'll ever make are the people we break up with, not the people we get with.
That's true.
Whoa. I mean, Matthew, you've studied relationships for the last few years, so you know how this goes. What's your best advice to a woman who was dumped and she's just down and doesn't want to leave her house? That's the wrong thing to do, right?
Stop shaving.
That's actually a wonderful question because
and wearing Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And won't go get the Botox in her armpits, you know?
there's my
Really
my
specific.
brother Steve Hussey writes articles for us, and he actually defined this very, very well as the difference between the athlete recovery method after a breakup and the hangover recovery method after a breakup. Now, the hangover recovery, if you imagine when you've got a hangover, you tend to do all of the worst things. You eat bad food the next day, you laze around, you watch terrible TV, you do all of the things that actually make you worse, not better.
Yeah.
That's a great day right there.
No, I get this analogy.
I like
Sure.
lounging.
And he said, that's what people do when they break up. They go and sleep with a bunch of people because they think, oh, if I go and have sex with someone, that's going to help. But that leaves them feeling even worse than when they started. They think, oh, I'm going to go out drinking and partying. That leaves them feeling more depressed than when they started. Because now, of course, they're meeting the worst types of people at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
They're not doing the things that are wholesome, that are enriching their lives. The athlete recovery method, when you injure yourself, you can't use that muscle for a little while, right? If you think of the heart right now as a muscle and you can't use it after a breakup, you don't want to jump into a relationship, you want to heal. So you're not trying to mess with your heart right now. What you're saying is, when an athlete gets injured, they train every other part of their body so that when that part of their body is healed, when that muscle is healed, their whole body is ready to go. They're not now out of shape. So doing things like that would be, you actually maybe go to the gym. Maybe you start a new hobby. You see friends that nourish you, that make you feel better.
Right.
You do all of the wholesome things that actually build your life so that when you're then ready again to meet someone, every other part of your life is firing on all cylinders as opposed to down in the dumps because you've let everything get out of shape.
Matthew, do you have time to hang out with us this morning?
Yeah, I would love to.
Would you like to do this Old Dominion interview with us?
Sure.
Since they're all about dumping people.
Like, what's Old Dominion?
They're a country band. They're really good. And they have that Dump 'em song.
Yeah,
Done.
break
Break up.
Done.
Dominion right there.
Love that. That's the best booty call ever. I love that.
Matthew, do you agree with their song about calling a girl and telling him, dump that guy and get
Well,
him
at least it's direct.
Yeah.
At least it's direct. And he's
Confident.
He's sort of not quite... He's not that drunk, is he? He's
Just
a little
buzzed.
bit. He's a little bit drunk.
Just
I
drunk
thought,
enough.
by the way, I thought for a moment, I was really worried for you all because I thought that you were all alcoholics because these bottles,
They look
all-
like
they all look like little bottles
do.
of Smirnoff, and I
Right.
literally just thought you were all just drinking vodka straight.
That's called poor marketing right
And then
there,
I realised,
Matthew.
I thought, okay, phew, this isn't just a song
You're right.
about an alcoholic.
These
By
guys are
four
tough.
alcoholics. As an ignorant Brit when it comes to country music, because I know nothing about country music, nor have I ever liked it, I have to confess. That genuinely, legitimately was one of the first country songs I have ever liked.
Awesome.
It's winning you over, right?
No, I swear to you that I really, really enjoyed that. I thought I was going to have to lie and say I enjoyed it, and I don't have
Maybe
to.
do it.
It was really, really good. I really.
So, do you
No, it
have
was
a big
really good.
British fan base, Old Dominion? Do you?
We have one now.
Yeah.
One British fan right here. If you can convince one person. Tomorrow. No, do you know, I was talking to the guys in the car about it. I would love to go, but we have to fly to San Diego at I think 9 o'clock tomorrow. We have another seminar in San Diego on Sunday. The same thing. I feel like the more local we get, the nicer it gets. I think something to the hardened city person that we imagine in New York or London or LA. Or maybe people are just nicer in the south, who knows.
Seen it, man. Meetings. Let's
We'll keep you
figure
updated.
stuff out next
Safe
week.
travels.
Yeah, we will. Lots to talk about. We'll
Yeah.
keep you up to date on the results.
Yeah, please.
All right, pal.
Bye, Ben.
Bye, guys. Enjoy your night tonight.
I'm gonna get so much food at the cinema.
At the cinema.
Yeah,
We're getting Tex-Mex right now.
I know.
This food place is known for their giant frozen margaritas.
I went to Mi Cocina we went there and I yelped it and I said, well, you know what's good here. The thing that kept coming up is the baby mama fuku margarita thing, whatever it is. And the thing is, it was billed to be the best margarita ever, and it actually was the best margarita ever. So we got in some trouble with those.
How do you get rid of brain freezes?
Think warm thoughts.
Massage your temples.
What makes you decide it's going to be a drinking day?
Okay, I'll tell you what I think it is.
Here's the best.
Firstly, the drink's good. I'm not one of those people who like drinks foul drinks to get drunk. So the drink's good. Secondly, it's Friday afternoon. Thirdly, unlike most people who have a weekend, I will be working myself into a coma over the next 2 days. So even though I have 100 things I would still love to get done before the end of today. Do you know what I mean? I don't rush to find who I want to stay with in a hotel for a week when I go on holiday. I wouldn't rush the friend that I'm going to stay with for a week on holiday. I tend to vet those friends. Who do I actually want to spend 7 days with? Who will I enjoy? Who has terrible habits that I don't want to be around for 7 days? Now imagine the person you're going to be with every week for the rest of your life. Shouldn't you vet that person a little more rigorously? This should not be rushed, but the panic that sets in, and the noise from other people, and the accusations that if we're not in a relationship, we're not quite as successful as if we were, those things are noise that pressure us into making bad decisions. Please resist, at all costs, that noise.
little dehydrated?
Yeah. I feel like we lived in Dallas. You know, like we really squeezed every drop out of life while we were in Dallas. I haven't always felt that on tour. Sometimes you just get here, you go to the hotel, and you wait for the event. And that's because you don't have much time, right? You don't have much time, so you tell yourself, well, we'll stay in. We didn't have much time this time, but we still went out and destroyed it. Like, we got so much in. Think of all the different things we did in such a short space of time. Imagine how many times we've had very little time and convinced ourselves we couldn't do anything. And for that reason, we missed out on some of the joys of traveling and experiencing new things, just because we were trying to make it perfect instead of just doing something. Dallas, we did it right. I think we should try and stick to that from now on.
And now you go on stage in 60 minutes. And where do you go when you walk off the stage?
Oh, to San Diego. Why are we talking about this? Is depressing to think about that. Just get me through the next 60 minutes. Don't do that to me. We don't get to San Diego tonight though, do we? We get to LA tonight and we have to drive to San Diego first thing in the morning.
Well, how do you think you're going to feel when you're walking off stage and you're going to go straight to the airport to go to San Diego and do it all again tomorrow?
Sing us! Give 5 high fives and grab a seat.
So Jameson had the idea to do a kind of end of year video where it was essentially a compilation of clips that were cut out of the videos we did this year. For the life of me, I don't know what he's talking about because I don't know what would have been cut. Clearly everything that I say is gold. I don't know. So your guess is as good as mine, but whatever he's done, here goes. How many people you've slept with, I don't need to know that, and you shouldn't need to know it about me. You know, we'll ask it. Doesn't mean we want to know this fly. Seriously. Just throw that at the end of the video, because people love f***ing bloopers. Are my standards too high? And the answer is maybe, but maybe not. That was lame. Quirky. You go into his apartment and he's very tidy. He likes things a certain way. He's a little like that, detail-oriented. Crazy. You're having this wild, passionate, sexual moment, and in the middle of it you realize he's not even paying attention because he's fluffing the pillows next to your head. Not even in the moment with you, but instead making sure that the bed is just fine. If you come and draw art on my left butt cheek, it doesn't mean I wanted art there. You've just come and vandalized my arse. Can't leave that in, can we? That's gone. Let's edit it out. Vandalized my arse. This is how it happens. Jameson will probably leave that in now, because you probably thought that was funny, didn't you? 9texts.com. Matt, is that the letter 9? Or is that the letter 9? I'm not even going to give you another one so that you can use it as a blooper. I'm going to keep going on this one. That's the nature of this video. Part of getting rid of the elephant in the room is saying, guys, there's a freaking elephant in the room. Could someone get that freaking elephant out of this room because it's shitting everywhere? Let's leave it. What? Leave it. Jameson's giving... What you don't see right now is Jameson giving me looks like, can we just make this video so that we can get on with our lives? And he's shaking his head. And I don't appreciate it, Jameson. And for that, I want it still in there. I want it still to remain in there. There will be a movie with your name on it that talks about an elephant shitting in the middle of a room. So, so ridiculous.
This is like, this is your whole thing. You grow
Okay,
your own
all right.
roses. Like, that's what the love giver does.
This year, I have spent some time growing 4 roses. Now, apparently not every guru does this, which I find extraordinary. I don't know what they do the rest of the year. And even if they do, they grow them in bush form, not individually out of the ground on their own. I mean, it's 2014. Why go back to the bush? We can't say that. As the late Justin Bieber said, you can go hard or you can go home. Why not go hard and go home?
Why is he late?
I just, it's just funny.
Just jinxed him. Like,
It's just, is that bad? Can
Yeah,
I
you gotta
listen?
say-
No, I haven't jinxed him. What do you mean?
He's
If Justin-
he's got a drug problem and a driving problem. He's gonna
Oh
fucking
God, he
drive.
has got a drug and a driving problem. Firstly, Jameson, I'm not superstitious. I'm not an idiot. So I don't believe that me saying the late Justin Bieber randomly on a video is going to be some sort of precursor to his death. And if it is, I'll just take all the bloody credit. Because think of how powerful that makes me. Then I'll be saying to people, follow me or die. We're making an April Fool's video.
Oh, how fun!
And but they won't know. Like we're playing it dead. We're playing it dead serious. We're doing the most ridiculous advice, but we're not telling them that it's fake advice.
If you pull this off, you're like, think about Michelangelo's David. What's the one thing about that? It's statuesque.
What's the #1 quality of Michelangelo's David? Statuesque. Not moving, stern, Venus de Milo, expressionless. What's she doing? She's doing nothing. She's not even able to express with her arms. She doesn't have any anymore. I love the anymore, because she used to have arms. That's the thing about that. But remember, you might think a lampshade keeps the light in, but it's really just waiting for the light to get out. Hansel and Gretel may have gone into that house made of candy, but there are still people starving in other parts of the world. No matter how many coffee beans there are in your cup, you're always going to need a cup of tea once in a while. Sleeping Beauty may have eaten the apple, but the 7 dwarves were nowhere to be found. But remember, if your love life is like War and Peace, well, that's one war I want to be a part of. Live tour, which is going to be in North America, but you could choose any of them. You could choose London, you could choose any of the North American events, even Canada. So, let's get started.
North America does include Canada.
Does it?
Yeah, North America is Canada and the United States.
Really?
America is America, but North America is...
I never knew that.
I've noticed, you've done it before.
I never knew that.
So it's like,
Okay.
something you learn in the 2nd grade.
Well, you just guaranteed yourself a zing somewhere in the video. Are we rolling right now? Because I want them to hear this.
Okay.
Jameson sends me a text. He's on his way to record a video. He sends me a text. Already after the time he's supposed to be here, saying, FYI, caught on the phone, ETA 3:49. Who puts 3:49? Not like, oh, I'll be there at 4 or even 3:50. You put 3:49. What arrogance is that?
Did you know what time I walked there?
What?
3:49. Precisely.
Yeah, but why would you put it? Why would you put 3:49? Who's ever said, I'll be there at 3:49? By the way, this gives you an insight into who Jameson is and why I get annoyed. Because you lot have a go at me and say, oh, you bully him in your videos. It's that text message that tells you everything you need to know about the man.
And by the way, were you ready to go when I got here? Or were you shirtless and wearing your shorts?
I'm still wearing my shorts. Not that they know that. At some point I'm going to have an address that you can send clothes to that you want me to wear in a video, and I will wear them, and we'll sort of have a contest of some sort. The point is, Jameson wanted me to wear something festive. So here's my festive look. Merry holidays. Do people say Merry holidays? No, they don't. This is the point. You have to say Christmas because you say Merry Christmas. Probably get this video started now.
How high are you right now?
Do you think that's it? Yeah, do you think it's the drugs? Definitely. I think we're about done, Jameson, don't you? Smart water mixed with airborne. Alright, I'll call you back. Yeah, I'm in the middle of shooting a bloody video. She hung up on me. How does she hang up on me in the middle of that? Oh, I'm getting a phone call while I'm... This... Now I've just got to wait. I've just got to wait until it goes off. Huh? No, I'm not showing who's calling. It's my mum. It's actually my mum. So it turns out there was some stuff cut, and Jameson decided to have a good laugh at my expense. Try and get everyone else to laugh at me as well. What he doesn't realise is that I pay his, so he's done. He's fired. Who's had the last laugh now, bitch? This guy. And by the way, I'm shooting on an iPhone right now. Don't even need you, mate. Don't even need you. So we'll be doing videos like this from now on. Just me and an iPhone, baby. See, what he doesn't realise is I just have to rename him and he's replaced. Isn't that right, Benjamin? So we'll see you next time. Rest in peace, Jameson. Just to tell me when you're ready. Are we actually rolling? Yeah. America has taken away tea from me, which is very upsetting, but it has given me Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies. We should get this video started. I feel like we're going to get in trouble for this video. I'm just going to say it. Stop leaving things at guys' houses. I don't mean, 6 months into a relationship, then, leave your toothbrush, whatever. After being there for a night, when you first met them, don't leave stuff there. This is sometimes done unconsciously, but many times done quite consciously as a way to both remind him of said lady, or to get him to want to return it so that she can see him again. It's never like a really good piece of jewelry. It's never like your grandmother's engagement ring with the diamond ring in that you now have to frantically run back to get. It's always like something that doesn't, like you can leave there for 4 days and not really worry about it. It's like a $2 H&M ring. Some people say, oh, I just left a ring and I forgot. It really wasn't conscious. Fine. But for many people, it is conscious. They leave something behind so that he has a reason to get in touch and to see her again. Or she has a reason to get in touch and say, hey, I left my ring at your house. I need to come and get it. And, if we happen to have a date that same time, that would be great too. It suggests to him on an unconscious level that you weren't good enough for him to just decide he wanted to see you again. You needed to leave something behind that made him obligated to see you again. And no one wants to feel obligated. The moment there's something at his house he knows he has to return, it becomes an obligation to see you. You don't want that feeling in him. You want him to feel like he's selling himself on the idea of seeing you again. Now you might be thinking, oh, it worked for Cinderella. She leaves a glass slipper behind. He has to, he picks it up and he finds it. Yeah, but he didn't have Cinderella's number. It's different. I hope as I'm saying this that I haven't said anything to the contrary anywhere. I was trying to think, have I anywhere ever recommended leaving something behind like this? I possibly have, but there's an improvement on it. Because, by the way, the psychology kind of works. The idea of, let me leave something behind that's going to remind him of me. But there are better ways of doing that. Of course, by the way, one is scent. If you have a certain fragrance on that he associates with you, and he smells that on his pillow later, that's an incredible way of him remembering you without feeling obligated to see you again. And smell, of course, is an extraordinarily powerful mechanism. The smell receptors in the nose are directly linked to the parts of our brain responsible for memory formation and emotion. So smell is a gateway to emotion. If you want him to get the emotion of the date again or being with you, smell is a great way to do that. But there's another great way to do that, and that's leaving a note. Leave him a little note on his desk, wherever, that just, nothing too long, something that says, I had an amazing time with you last night. You are so much fun to be around, and you really are an incredible man. Whatever you want to say. I'll see you soon, handsome. Kiss. That's it. By the way, not we should see each other soon, or, you know, I would love to see you soon, call me, ? None of that stuff. Nothing that shows uncertainty, like complete certainty. I'll see you soon, handsome. Your name, kiss, that's it. Leave the note, get out. That shows no desperation or neediness. It shows sweetness. It shows even a hint of vulnerability, like you're prepared to put your feelings out there and you're not afraid to communicate them, which interestingly and ironically also shows massive confidence. But it doesn't give you a reason to see him again in the way that leaving something behind does, and create that unconscious obligation, which now makes him feel like he's having to do something before he's even started. You never want to make a guy feel like he has to do something. You want him to feel like he wants to, like he sold himself. So that's it. That was pretty good, Jameson. That was better than I thought it was going to be, dare I say. I don't know. Originally, I felt like the premise was a little thin. But, I don't know. She was a sweet one. If you're a Girl Scout, however, don't come to my front door. You are the great enablers. I hate you. Such sweet, sweet hatred. I'm often getting emails or phone calls from women who say to me some variation on the idea that I'm done with men, or I'm done with relationships. I'm just going to be alone, I'm going to be single, I'm going to be the way I am forever now. And I find it really sad, because there is so much potential out there for the people that say this, and when they say it, it's like just handing over your potential and saying, okay, I'm done now. I'm never going to be what I really can be. People don't see this as an area that is about potential, but I do. Not because you should value yourself based on a relationship you get or based on a guy that you're with, but because there is so much potential to grow by the people that we allow ourselves to be around, by the relationships that we get involved in. There's so much opportunity to find out more about who we are, find out more about people in general and human nature. There's so much ability to share experiences in the world with someone in a way that's really magical, because you can't experience quite the same thing on your own. And really the potential to discover life in new ways, and even to grow through the pain of relationships. To me, relationships are potential. Whether they go right or wrong, relationships mean potential. And I think it's so sad the way that people just give up on it because they've had some experiences that haven't worked out right. Now, I get it. I know that, especially for people who are slightly older and they've been through experiences their whole life, and the men that they've been with have taught them that men are a certain way. You know, many women have generalizations that they make about men that for them aren't generalizations. They're true. Men are liars. Men are cheaters. Men will lead you down the garden path thinking everything's okay, and then they'll just leave you. Men can't be trusted. There are all these ideas about men, and as I said, for these women, they're not generalizations, because every guy that they've been with has followed that pattern. They haven't been with a guy that's different to that. And so very often people get to a point where they say, I'm done, that's it. I got nothing left. I can't go through this same cycle again. And that really where I think is where the growth is and where things get more exciting. We don't have to go through the same cycle again that we've been through. We could go through a different cycle, but that different cycle requires us to be in a different mindset, or it requires us to go in it with a different approach. It requires us to try something new or take a risk that we haven't taken before. Some women get into a situation where they say, well, I never trust men. The men I'm with can't be trusted. And maybe it's time to begin a new cycle, whether that cycle example is I'm going to start trusting more, whether it means I'm going to start giving people more space because I know because I don't trust people, I'm always getting so close to them that I strangle them, and I find ways always to create a situation I'm afraid of because I'm always putting it on their radar. I'm always telling them how jealous I am or how annoyed I am that they didn't call me or that they didn't do something. Instead, I'm going to give someone space and practice that. Maybe it's going to result in the same thing, but it doesn't matter. At least you'll have been more of who you wanted to be. I'm a big believer that in relationships, we get a chance to be the person we want to be. And that to me is where the real experience lies. It's not that every time it's going to go right, because by the way, sometimes you'll do everything right and someone will still do you wrong. Someone will still cheat on you, they'll lie to you, they'll do something that upsets you. That can happen in any relationship, even when you do things right. And for me, one of the most tragic things in relationships is when a woman does everything right and the guy wrongs her and she takes it as a message to say, I'm not doing this again because I can't get it right. I don't know what to do next. I gave it my all and it didn't work out. My all isn't enough. That's not true. Your all wasn't right for that scenario. It could be perfect for another scenario. So we have to have it in our minds that what's the big picture here? What's the big goal? Because if the goal is to get it right every time, that's a problem. That means, by the way, if your goal is to get it right every time, you're going to give up. You're going to say enough is enough, I can't do this, because you'll never win. You'll never win. The goal has to be, okay, firstly, I'm going to be the person I want to be in this world. Now, if that involves a certain level of warmth, generosity, affection, being flirtatious, giving, intimacy, then I'm going to allow myself to express those things. And if someone doesn't want to take them the right way, or they want to betray me with those things, that's fine. There's always the possibility of that. But you move on in the same way you do with a business deal. You know, sometimes you trust someone in a partnership or as an employee, and when they wrong you and you've given them that trust, you get rid of them. You move on. You go on to the next deal. You don't decide you're never going to do a business deal again because business deals can go wrong. You have to get in there because you have to survive and make money and thrive. It's the same way in relationships. You start by being who you want to be, and then you filter out the people who don't accept that or aren't happy enough with that. The other thing is this. Instead of making relationships this big goal where we have to go into it thinking this is going to be my life partner, this be the person I marry, this be the person I have family with. Instead of going into it like that, what we have to do is chunk down. I believe that those things are the byproduct of incredible moments with someone. You know, getting married is the byproduct of incredible moments with someone that lead two people to that place where they want to get married. Having kids is the byproduct of magic moments with someone, not all the time, but when they want them, magic moments with someone where you go down this path of, I want to be intimate with you, I want to be close to you, I want to build something with you. You feel that shared intimacy that makes you want something more that's greater than the two of you. Those come from moments. And so I believe that we have to look to achieve moments and not these grand visions, because the grand vision is just a byproduct. What are the moments that are going to create that? And let me tell you, they're moments of shared connection. They're moments where you're with someone. Let me give you an example. Let's say you decide to go traveling alone. That's something a lot of people do, right? I don't want to go traveling with anyone. I'm going to go traveling alone. I'm going to have my own adventure, which is kind of a nice analogy for life. So you go on your own adventure and you go traveling. And then you get there and maybe you did a gap year, like a year's break when you were young, and you did that whole hostels thing where you traveled and you went around all different places. What often happens is you go into this hostel alone, and that very same night you meet 3 new people. And you spend the night with those people and you have a great time, and all of a sudden you have these new friends. One of the greatest things about traveling alone is the people you meet when you get there. So then you meet people, and maybe they're good enough friends for one night. Maybe they become good enough friends that you actually want to go on to the next city with those people. Maybe when you go on to the next city, you have such a great time that it makes you want to go to another country or travel again with those people, or even make a lifelong friend out of them. The point is, even if you set out to go traveling alone, the best experiences are the ones that are shared, the ones that we have with people along the way. And if we take the pressure off of something having to be this big vision of a life partner, and instead think of chunking it down to what is the immediate moment I want to have with someone? What's the immediate thing I want to happen? I want to have a smile with someone. I want to have a great conversation over a coffee. I want to sit at a bar and meet someone and flirt and have fun. Or I want to share an experience with someone. You know, I want to go traveling and meet someone and share this new place of the world with that person. It starts there. And then we build on that. Okay, I've had one amazing moment with this person. What might the next one be? And you bring your all to the next moment as well. And that leads to another moment. It's a series of moments that lead to that ultimate place that deep down we might really want to go. And that's what makes it so exciting, is you really only need to focus on these moments. You don't need to focus on the big vision all the time. In fact, the big vision is the thing that creates overwhelm and makes us feel like a failure every time we have a false start. So look, if you're sitting there right now feeling like I've given up, I'm at the end of my tether, I can't do this anymore, don't even think about the big vision right now. Think about the moments right in front of you. I don't need you to suddenly think, I'm going to go out and find my life partner. But I do need you to have the courage to say, I'm going to go and have a great moment. And I'm not going to deny myself that connection because one part of me feels like there isn't hope or this isn't going to go right. Instead, I'm going to put not my hope, I'm just going to put my excitement and my energy into creating immediate moments in front of me that could turn into something really magical if I was open enough to let it. Thank you, my friends, and I will see you soon. Two things before you go. One, the way we shot this, Jameson and I, was we didn't necessarily plan to, but it became a longer video and something that we didn't cut because we kind of liked it. We thought, okay, it was one long piece from start to finish and we want to go a little old school. We want to just do it the way we did in the old days and not cut it, just put it out there as it is. Did you like it that way? Was it too long? Did you enjoy it because it was a little longer? Would you prefer the cuts? I'd be interested. We're always trying to create the best thing for you. I can't say that I'll always listen. Sometimes we just do things because we want to do them. But I would love your opinion. And secondly, I know that some of you were distracted by this little mark above my eye. I did not move out of the way of that punch in the ring. Don't be judging it. It's what it is. Remember, this is about sex meaning something, not sex costing us something. If it means something, we'll just continue in an organic and elegant way. If we feel it's cost us something, we'll go forward in an anxious way. Before we get into the video, like the video if you like it already. It means a lot to us. Subscribe to the channel so that we can hit our 10 million followers. What's that? When you have 2.8? Okay, that's a lot less. Subscribe so that we can get to 2.8 and a bit million followers. Hit the notification bell so that the next time I release a video, you get notified first and you don't miss it. A crucial piece of information that could help you in your love life and your confidence. Now on to the video. What do we do after we have sex with someone that we want more with? Sex is one of those strange things that changes the dynamic, doesn't it? It can make us feel awkward afterwards. It can make us feel afraid. For some people, it makes them feel like they've given something up and they now have a reason to be fearful because by having sex with someone, I can now feel used. I can now feel in some way taken advantage of, or I can just not like myself for having done it if this situation doesn't turn into anything more. I will now regret this. And all of the complications and anxieties around having sex with someone can create a very counterproductive energy after we've done it. And that's a shame because when we have sex with someone and we want something to happen afterwards, there's a certain mindset and a certain intention and approach that actually makes it much more likely that something positive will come of it. Here's the starting point after sex. We have to communicate through our words, through our actions, through our energy, that sex is something that means something to us. Now, don't get me wrong, sex doesn't have to mean something to everybody who has it, but for the person who wants a relationship, for the person who is being intentional about who they have sex with, there is a way to convey that it means something to you in a beautiful, high-value way. Now remember, in dating, we are always communicating whether we are someone to be taken seriously or someone to be taken lightly. So when we sleep with somebody, how do we communicate in an elegant way that we are somebody to be taken seriously? Number one, don't run away after sex and expect them to chase you. This is what happens for a lot of people, either out of a sense of pride, like, oh no, I've given something up. The power has shifted into their hands. I now need to get power back by getting them to chase me. It shouldn't be that way. It creates the wrong dynamic in the first place. And sometimes we back off after sex because you're afraid of rejection. You feel like, oh my God, I'm exposed now. I'm vulnerable. I'm going to go into my cave and they're going to have to coax me out again. We don't want to be the person that makes someone chase after sex because all that does is go back to game playing. We also, by the way, don't want to be the person that doubles our intensity after sex because we're anxious and we feel like now it has to go somewhere or we're going to feel used and taken advantage of. Both of these two things, making them chase or suddenly chasing them, are extremes that we don't want to participate in. And usually that comes from the framing of sex as having cost us something. Remember, this is about sex meaning something, not sex costing us something. If it means something, we'll just continue in an organic and elegant way. If we feel it's cost us something, we'll go forward in an anxious way. Number two, if we want it to go somewhere, then after sex, we can't just let it run on for months without expressing that we don't want to continue if that person is sleeping with other people. In other words, if there's going to be continual sleeping together now, it has to be within the framework of not sleeping with other people. The more you continue to have sex with someone without explaining that you wouldn't want to do that if it wasn't exclusive, the more you cement a dynamic that you don't want and make it permanent. Number three, if you communicate that to someone and they express that they don't want to be exclusive, then you don't suddenly end up back in bed with them on a Friday night where you're feeling lonely or they hit you up. Instead, you have to be willing to walk away. You stick to what's actually important to you, which is that sex means something. And if you're going to continue to have it with someone, there has to be a progression and there has to be an exclusivity between you. You don't trample your own principles and the things that mean something to you simply because you like someone. Why? Because sex means something to you. And by the way, this isn't about judging someone if they don't want exclusivity. It's not about being angry at someone if they don't want exclusivity. And it's not about calling someone out like they used us or they did something wrong by having sex with us when it didn't go somewhere. We have to own our actions. If we have sex with someone, own it. It was great. I had fun. It was something I wanted to do. But because it means something to me, this isn't something I'm going to continue to do with someone for whom it doesn't mean the same. And that is how you get taken seriously. That's how you get treated as someone that has to be invested in instead of someone that can just be relied upon for a fun or enjoyable experience when that person feels like it. By the way, for those of you that want to get more in depth about how to have these conversations, because I know that many of you will be asking, what does it actually look like? Okay, I slept with someone. What should I do next? What do I actually say to communicate these things? I have very specific ways of having these conversations inside a program called the Momentum Texts, which is a $7 program before you ask. So everyone should go and get a copy of this. It gives you the right things, the right ways to say things in early dating so that you're never listening to any of my videos going, okay, but Matt, how would you actually say that? And it even gives you things that you can say prior to having sex if you want to gauge whether sex means the same to that person before you have it. So there's great things you can say before the fact and after the fact. And honestly, I want to take the pressure off this because this isn't about, oh my God, you already did it. That's a problem. We're adults, you know, people go home together, things happen, you know, we sometimes move fast, we sometimes move too fast, or sometimes we just do something that's fun in the moment. There's nothing wrong with that. The only real sin is in us continuing with a dynamic that doesn't work for us. And that's the thing we have to get out of the habit of. What I want to do is make sure people aren't afraid to have the conversations that will actually get them more results. And the Momentum Texts teaches you exactly how to have those conversations. 67 different versions of those conversations, to be precise. So go over there now, momentumtexts.com. Everyone should have this as they go out there into their love lives. I want you to have it too. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time. You were with this guy for 3 years. You had a great relationship.
Yeah.
He then out of nowhere broke it off.
We had issues. It was a lot of stress.
Okay.
Which is what I think. And also.
So he broke it off on New Year's Eve, and now it's been 2 years, and now he wants you back.
He's been trying to make contact with me in the past, but I always blew it off.
Right.
But now he showed up in person, so
Right.
I have to.
Well, the things that broke down the relationship 2 years ago, do you feel confident that they've been resolved?
I feel like we can work through it, yes. I do.
Does he?
Yeah.
Do you believe him when he says how committed he is?
Yeah.
You do?
I do, yeah.
What has changed in 2 years that makes you suddenly think, I can trust his intentions here? And not just his intentions, but his ability to follow through.
Yeah.
What's changed?
I feel like he lost me, and he felt the consequences of that. And he tried to make several attempts to contact me, and I turned him away. And he felt that consequence of not having me around and having to actually go out there in the world and date other people and try to find a relationship that was right for him. And he failed. You know,
Okay.
he couldn't do it.
So look, it happens all the time. Two people pick up again years later, and sometimes it works. What you have to be, if you're going to do this, you have to be confident that you're not going in to something blindly, that, you know, really all that's changed is he's had time away to miss you. But the actual fundamentals of what made you not work before haven't changed. You need to be really careful of that. If the fundamentals have changed in the time that you've had apart, and 2 years is a good amount of time, don't get me wrong, it's better 2 years than 2 weeks in some ways. Because if you're apart for 2 weeks and someone says, no, I realize the error of my ways, well, have the fundamentals really changed in 2 weeks? The things that broke us up? Probably not. 2 years is a good amount of time, right? But you have to feel confident that the fundamentals of what broke you up before have changed. And that means you can intelligently say things actually have a real shot at being different now. Otherwise, you're just going in blind. So you may want to have those conversations with him, right? Hey, I need you to get out of grovel mode. I need you to get out of desperation and panic and you're going to lose me and you're freaked out. I need you to get out of that. Because right now I need to talk to you as two grown-ups who you're asking me to embark on a new journey with you. And we as two grown-ups need to have a conversation about whether anything is really different or whether you just miss me and you haven't found anyone better. Right? Because I don't want you to want me because you didn't find anyone better. Because it's not about whether I'm better. It's about you wanting me as a unique individual. It's not about whether, did I find anything in 2 years that compared? No. I don't want to be that, because 1 year from now you might find someone who's better than me in some way. And then what am I going to do? Right? I don't want someone who's weighing me up against the rest of the world. I want someone who's decided, who's made a decision that they want to build a life with me. That's what I want. And that has nothing to do with whether I beat everyone else on every category or not. That's you know, that's a card game. Right? I'm not in this for you because I'm not going to be with you because you didn't find anyone better in the last 2 years.
Right. I don't want to be his backup plan, you know.
Not even his backup plan. I don't want to be the person you come to because suddenly you realize I'm great.
Yeah.
Right? Love is a decision.
Yeah.
Commitment is a decision.
A big one. Yeah.
Right? You don't commit to someone because you go, I'm never going to find anyone better. Right? You commit because then what happens if you do? You commit to someone because you say, I feel it in my bones, I want to be with this person and I'm going to go all in with this person. And whoever comes along in my life from now on, it doesn't matter. It's not about whether someone's better or not. It's about the fact that I've decided to build this relationship. And so that's what I would do. I would have a real conversation with him, a serious conversation with him, not based on romance. Because of course it's romantic after 2 years being apart to get back together again. Fuck, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Of course, how could it not be? How could it not for the next year be a honeymoon?
Yeah,
or 6 months or whatever. But it's not about the feelings, it's not about the honeymoon, it's not about the romance. It's about, have the fundamentals changed? And I need to talk to you as a grown-up now, not as someone groveling at my workplace, but as someone as a grown-up who's either going to be in a serious relationship with me in my life and build something with me, or someone who is just here because they're panicked. And I don't want you here because you're panicked.
And I kind of feel that now that you mention it, because he keeps saying like, okay, I'm 37, you know, like I don't want to be 40 and
Right.
just starting
That's
a
about
family.
him.
It's
Say
about
to him, that's about you. That's not about me. And unless I feel it's about me, and until I feel it's about me, you being panicked is not a good enough reason for me to give up my life.
That's so true.
Okay?
Have that big conversation.
All right, it's grown up shit.
Yeah.
You were with this guy for 3 years. You had a great relationship.
Yeah.
He then out of nowhere broke it off.
We had issues. It was a lot of stress.
Okay.
Which is what I think. And also.
So he broke it off on New Year's Eve, and now it's been 2 years, and now he wants you back.
He's been trying to make contact with me in the past, but I always blew it off.
Right.
But now he showed up in person, so
Right.
I have to.
Well, the things that broke down the relationship 2 years ago, do you feel confident that they've been resolved?
I feel like we can work through it, yes. I do.
Does he?
Yeah.
Do you believe him when he says how committed he is?
Yeah.
You do?
I do, yeah.
What has changed in 2 years that makes you suddenly think, I can trust his intentions here? And not just his intentions, but his ability to follow through.
Yeah.
What's changed?
I feel like he lost me, and he felt the consequences of that. And he tried to make several attempts to contact me, and I turned him away. And he felt that consequence of not having me around and having to actually go out there in the world and date other people and try to find a relationship that was right for him. And he failed. You know,
Okay.
he couldn't do it.
So, look, it happens all the time. Two people pick up again years later, and sometimes it works. What you have to be, if you're going to do this, you have to be confident that you're not going in to something blindly, that, you know, really all that's changed is he's had time away to miss you. But the actual fundamentals of what made you not work before haven't changed. You need to be really careful of that. If the fundamentals have changed in the time that you've had apart, and 2 years is a good amount of time, don't get me wrong, it's better 2 years than 2 weeks in some ways. Because if you're apart for 2 weeks and someone says, no, I realize the error of my ways, well, have the fundamentals really changed in 2 weeks? The things that broke us up? Probably not. 2 years is a good amount of time, right? But you have to feel confident that the fundamentals of what broke you up before have changed. And that means you can intelligently say things actually have a real shot at being different now. Otherwise, you're just going in blind. So you may want to have those conversations with him, right? Hey, you were with this guy for 3 years. You had a great relationship.
Yeah.
He then out of nowhere broke it off.
We had issues. It was a lot of stress.
Okay.
Which is what I think. And also.
So he broke it off on New Year's Eve, and now it's been 2 years, and now he wants you back.
He's been trying to make contact with me in the past, but I always blew it off.
Right.
But now he showed up in person, so
Right.
I have to.
Well, the things that broke down the relationship 2 years ago, do you feel confident that they've been resolved?
I feel like we can work through it, yes. I do.
Does he?
Yeah.
Do you believe him when he says how committed he is?
Yeah.
You do?
I do, yeah.
What has changed in 2 years that makes you suddenly think, I can trust his intentions here? And not just his intentions, but his ability to follow through.
Yeah.
What's changed?
I feel like he lost me, and he felt the consequences of that. And he tried to make several attempts to contact me, and I turned him away. And he felt that consequence of not having me around.
The goal of any relationship shouldn't be that the other person lives up to this pedestal that we've put them on. The goal should be a real connection with who that person really is. I know that when I started doing videos on YouTube, I was very almost over the top positive. You know, I had learnt growing up, and certainly from people that I'd watched, that, If you want to be an expert in an area, especially in the self-help world, you have to be happy, 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 happy all the time, because that's really what influences people, and that's what shows that you're perfect. Self-help, oh, let's all walk around smiling all the time and being like, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. That's not what it is. You're missing the point. People don't have to be one way all the time. I certainly never want to teach that, oh, here's how to be at a peak level of happiness all the time. Sometimes you're not supposed to be at a peak level of happiness. Sometimes people want a more politically correct version. But I like authenticity. I like seeing someone raw and uncut. That to me is where the real excitement is, and that's where you really get to know and learn from someone, not from the kind of polished media version of them. And I think in our relationships, we're often looking for the polished media version of the people in our lives. The media version of our girlfriend, the polished media version of our boyfriend or our parent or our kid, because we want them to live up to an idea of what we have of them, this idea of what they are instead of what they really are. The problem is that we end up enforcing all of our own personal rules. We don't allow people the flexibility to be who they are and to express themselves authentically. It's so funny when people get offended by something in a YouTube video I do. Now, I recently released the old people video, Seniors Talk Dating, and someone made the comment in that video, Matt, this is beneath your dignity. And I remember reading that and thinking, it's not. Like, me in that video, that's not on someone else. Like, I okayed that video going out there with the swear words and with, the profanity and the lewd comments. When someone says that, I think, well, you either want a relationship with the real me or you want a relationship with the idea of me. If you want it with the idea of me, I can be this pure, righteous person who doesn't ever say a bad word or doesn't ever fall out of bed on the wrong side. When I started changing my YouTube videos from being happy, happy, happy to being, well, I'm going to now be me. Sometimes I'm going to be funny because I'm in a mood where I just want to make fun of shit. Other times I'm going to be serious because I want to rant about something because I'm pissed. Just very earnest because I feel very kind of loving towards something, or something has really touched me. I started deciding I'm going to be the things that I want to be. And the reason that I did that is because I didn't want to be seen on some pedestal. I know many gurus out there in the self-help industry that the moment they reach a certain level, they start taking themselves so seriously. They lose their sense of humor. They become like these weird robots. And I'm sure you've seen it. These weird zombie-like creatures of kind of pseudo happiness that they've taught themselves that doesn't allow them to just be them anymore, because anytime they have a negative thought or do something wrong, they're kicking themselves because they didn't follow the book or they did something differently. And I never want to be that, and I never want to preach that. People do that all the time. Is they try and have a relationship with an idea of someone instead of having a relationship with who they really are. When we have a relationship with who someone really is, it's far more interesting. It's far more magical. We get the depth and we get the diversity and the whole range, the whole gamut of emotions and feelings and insecurities and strengths and all the little idiosyncrasies that make them them. That to me is far more interesting. And I think it's something we have to allow people to be more. My challenge to you, and I want to take up this challenge myself as well, because it's not easy. When someone does something that doesn't fit with your exact version of them, again, ask yourself that question. Do I want a relationship with my idea of them, or do I want a relationship with the them that actually exists? This one is going to create much more depth than this one, which is going to create constant conflict anytime they do something that doesn't fit with the way I think they should be or the image that I've built up in my head. That's it. That's all I got to say. I'll see you next time, guys. Take care. I don't know why people see old people as so classy anyway. Jameson, you know the number one place that STDs are spread nowadays? Retirement homes. How's that for classy? In this video, I give you 3 simple steps to bringing up something your partner has done that you don't like in a way that strengthens instead of weakens your relationship. What a week! My newest program, Attraction to Commitment, came out this week. The excitement was unbelievable this week, more than I've ever experienced in my career for a new program. I want to say thank you to all of you who were excited about it. Thank you to all of you who got the program. Send me an email. Let me know what you're thinking about it so far. If you were off the radar this week and you don't know anything about this, click the link below the video. It's called Attraction to Commitment. It's my newest program. Go check it out for yourself. And for everyone watching this video, I have something really cool today. See, we got a comment in the last couple of weeks that I wanted to address. Sophie B says, so this is not a direct criticism, but I would love to see some videos about how to maintain a good relationship. I've got the guy, but new problems start to come up. How can I fight in an effective way? What can I do to maintain a good energy in my relationship? And how can I work on myself within a relationship? Now, Sophie, hopefully you've realized since that comment that everything you're describing is a huge part of the new program I've released, Attraction to Commitment. I hope you got on that program. But there is something that you said that I want to pick up on for the entire audience, which is how to fight effectively. All of us, when we meet someone special, are going to have a moment where that person does something we don't like. And in that moment, we are either going to have a reaction that hurts or helps our relationship, that destroys or builds. This will depend on the meaning we give to what someone else has done. And the most dangerous meanings tend to be the ones we rush to from a place of insecurity or fear or vulnerability, when we think we've been wronged. And when we think we've been wronged, we tend to ascribe the worst motive to what someone has done. But there's something I want you to remember in a moment like this. There's a philosophical principle called Hanlon's razor. Never attribute to malice that which can be adequately explained by stupidity. Now, what this means is sometimes we attribute the worst intentions to someone's actions, when really what we're encountering is a form of stupidity or ignorance or thoughtlessness. When someone does something that hurts us, very often, it wasn't that they were trying to hurt us, they just weren't really thinking. And you may say, that's still bad. And that may be true, but it's not as bad. See, different meanings have different emotional intensity. They are trying to hurt me, they don't care about me, they don't think I'm worthy, they don't love me. Those have a very strong emotional intensity. They weren't really thinking, less so. And in any case, our first reaction to something is us just guessing at it. We're making a decision based on a story we've constructed in our minds, not on the reality of what's actually going on. So here are 3 simple steps that you can use anytime you want to bring up something you're not happy about that will strengthen instead of weaken your relationship. The first is simply to slow down. I'm far more likely to regret my quick reactions than the ones I take a moment to consider. And that doesn't mean not saying anything, but think about it this way. If your conclusion is right, then it will still be right 5 minutes from now, or an hour from now, or tonight when you see your partner. But if you rush your reaction, that can be something that you'll easily regret. Second, phone a friend. Phone the friend in your life that is objective, that is measured in his or her response to situations. Not the person who's immediately going to back you up. Not the kind of friend who... What's the best way to explain this? Good idea. He knew that that meeting today was really important to me. And I haven't heard from him in the last 3 hours. Oh, hell no. That man needs to know he fucked up. I at least thought he'd ask me, how it went, or... I'm going to speak to him. No, you don't need to say anything. I'm going to speak to him. Monkey, I'm going to speak to him. No, I'm going to speak to... I'll come over. Don't come over. I'm coming over right now. Don't come over. Hang on, I'm on the phone to Strange Mel. Don't bring Strange Mel. He's probably cheating. Cheating? Probably cheating. You should come over. Already on my way. Bring Strange Mel. Oh, she's already here. Don't call that type of friend. Here's the friend you need. The one that doesn't simply buy your story. The one that knows you well enough that they can tell you when they think that you're going overboard, when you're falling prey to your normal patterns. They can check you. They're not afraid to check you and be like, you know what, you're overreacting here. Or just take a beat. You know, I think you should go in a little calmer and talk like this. They can help you navigate the emotional storm you're in. Because guess what? When you're upset, when you're angry, when you're too close to something, you're drunk. And you need to talk to a sober person. But not just any sober person, a wise sober person. I'm calling Strange Mel. Number 3, use charming candor. Now, when we feel wronged, we often go to one of two places. We either immediately, as a reflex, get aggressive and serious and angry, or we get passive aggressive and someone has to draw out of us what's wrong because they know our energy has changed, but they don't know why. And so we're building up to the moment where we're going to unleash all of this truth on them. There is a space to come to people in a much more relaxed way. And I call it charming candor because it allows you to be candid, but at the same time maintain your charming, warm demeanor. Like if you're dating a guy and for the last 2 or 3 dates, you've gone over to his side of town, and the next date he tries to set up, he says, hey, want to come to this bar near me? And it's on his side of town again. You don't have to set up a time for a serious conversation with him to talk about it. Instead, you can just text him back, your turn to come to me, lazy. That is charming candor because you're being playful, you're not being over serious, but you are pointing out that you want him to come to you. You're putting the light on the situation. And you may say, but it's disrespectful that he's asking me to come to his side of town again. Okay, if your playful little jab doesn't create a change in behavior, now you can have a more serious conversation. But it doesn't have to go straight to serious. Sometimes being playful but speaking the truth puts something on someone's radar in a way that's enough. They have awareness now and they can adjust. Look, I'm passionate about this subject because I'm interested in the truth of relationships, not the way we want them to be, not the way they are on a Hallmark card, not the way they are in a movie, but the way they really are. And what I've learned is one of the harsh truths about relationships is that if we continuously have the wrong reaction to things, the wrong reaction can cost us the right person. Now, yes, the right person, the right relationship, the right love can take a lot of damage, right? It's not fickle, it's not brittle. You can do a lot wrong with the right relationship and still hold on to it. But A, that doesn't mean it will thrive. And B, it doesn't mean that sustained injury to a relationship over time won't eventually be the death of it. Our actions, our reactions matter. And if you take one thing from this video, I want it to be that in moments when you feel vulnerable or threatened or insecure or wronged, you take a moment to really assess whether your reaction is coming from your own insecurities, your own demons, your own scars, or whether it's genuinely a reaction to the reality of the situation. And the only way that we'll know more about what the reality of the situation actually is and be able to use that information to have a more positive, productive conversation with our partner is to react more consciously and communicate more confidently. If you like this, if this speaks to you, this is exactly the kind of depth and detail that I go into in my brand new Attraction to Commitment program. So go check it out. I'll link it up here. I cannot wait for you to see this. Get your copy, and I will see you, as always, in next week's video. This is for anyone who's spending their time right now beating themselves up for mistakes they've made, decisions they wish they could change, and time they've wasted. There are 3 things I want you to remember today. Number 1, there are far more intelligent people than you who have made far dumber mistakes than any of the ones you've made. There's this guy, BJ Miller, a palliative care physician who, when you listen to him speak, has such an incredible grasp of what's important in life, and whenever he does speak, seems so eloquent and wise. And yet in 1993, as a sophomore at Princeton, he was out with his friends after a party, decided to climb onto a stationary shuttle train where 11,000 volts shot through his body. The event nearly killed him. He left with severe burns. He'd lost both his legs below the knee and his left forearm. He woke up a week later to realize that what he thought was a nightmare was now his reality. And all for one simple moment in his life. One decision, one mistake. And yet, BJ Miller says he doesn't regret the event. He doesn't even regret the injuries. He wouldn't take them away because of what he has gained. He said too much good stuff has come out of it. I was not headed toward a career in medicine before the accident, and I don't think I'd be as good a palliative care physician if I hadn't had that experience. The gift was that it got me out of the habit of thinking about the future and comparing myself to others. It rammed me into the present moment. I'm actually grateful for that. I found a new confidence. 2. You can't delete your mistakes without deleting some of the best parts of yourself. Louis C.K. in an interview said, if you go back and fix all of your mistakes, you erase yourself. The richness, the complexity, the depth of your character today is founded on your mistakes as much as it is your achievements. You may wish to go back in time and erase your mistakes, but life isn't that simple. If you take away the trauma, you take away the treasure, the things that make you, you. And remember, your mistakes aren't just the things that make you who you are today. They are the architects for who you can become. Number 3, so instead of trying to erase yourself, focus on beginning a new relationship with yourself. A relationship that begins with acceptance of your mistakes and, even further than that, a love of what those mistakes have given you. I spent the last 10 years of my life coaching people all over the world, people who want big change in all different areas of their life. The most intensive process I created for this was my retreat program. And whenever people begin the process of the retreat, they want 2 things. They want more results in life and they want more confidence within themselves. But what people don't realize about change is that it's so much harder when we're bogged down by past mistakes, because we all have a finite amount of energy in life. When we're using it to bully ourselves, loathe ourselves, beat ourselves up for all of the things we've done in the past, we have none left to progress towards the future. So if you want more results, I'm telling you now, dropping your baggage is the fastest way to get there so that you can use that energy for something productive instead of analyzing something you can't change. And if you want more confidence, confidence will come much more naturally when instead of wishing that you'd done something different, you learn to love who you are today, mistakes and all. Look, if you've been following me for a while, you know that what I do is far more than dating advice. You may have come for that and you may enjoy that, and that's wonderful. But there is a bigger journey, a bigger level of change waiting here for those who want to claim it. Videos like this give you the insights. But if you want more than the insights, if you want the actual process for change so that you can create a clean slate starting today and begin actually building the life you want, try the retreat program. I'll leave a link here for you, and as always, I will see you in next Sunday's video. We all have our personal story about why we are going to struggle to find love, about why we have struggled to find love, about why it's never going to happen for us in the future. And one of my favorite things to do is to dissolve those stories so that we can finally go out there and get what we deserve in this area. This is a story that I wanted to show you that can give you hope and a new belief in your love life. As you watch this story with one of my favorite people in the world, I want you to think about the story you've been telling yourself about why you're not going to find love. And see if by the end of this story, you don't feel a little bit lighter with it.
There was this one person on this program that called me up a couple of months back because she had had some things happen in her life since that program. And when she made that call, I heard it and I went, you gotta come back. You gotta come back, and I need you to tell other people what you've done, because wow. And so she came back this time, and I'm going to bring her up here, and we're just going to spend 5 minutes just talking about what she has done since, because her story is a very, very interesting one and so relevant to all of us. So, Angie, where are you? Oh, there she is. Okay. Give it up for Angela, everybody. How you doing?
Now that's 10 years or 8 years now.
Wow,
10.
was it that long ago?
Yeah, and I haven't aged a bit.
You haven't. So you came on that program, and I remember maybe a good place to start is, I know there was a big event in your life.
Yeah.
Let's fill people in on that, because I feel like that gives us context for everything that we'll say after that.
So, as you can see, or you might not be able to see, I wear a prosthetic. And my story is quickly that I was 23 and I was making my way home from work, and life was great. I was with friends, I had a job I loved, and in a moment, everything changed. I sadly was hit by a drunk and drug driver, and when he hit me in a van at 70 miles per hour, I was injured for life. And the injuries that I have now happened at that moment. And the hardest thing was when my leg was taken from the impact of the vehicle. The driver stood over me and he walked away. And this is what led me to Matthew, because being in hospital and getting told you're injured, you're not going to walk again, you're not going to live independently again, we don't know if you're going to be able to eat yourself or dress yourself. I defied that. I made sure when I left the hospital that I would walk again. I walked in crutches, but that was good enough. But my self-worth was on the ground, and there was nothing around me, and there was nothing there that showed me how to put that together. So I went onto YouTube, and it was one of Matthew's earlier videos. I mean that in a nice way, of course. And he was in a park. What park was it in London?
It was in Berkeley Square.
Yeah, and
I remember the video. I was sat on a. Nowadays we have Jameson and everything. I was sat on a bench just filming myself, and I do this. It wasn't on an iPhone. It was on like an old Sony cam. Yeah.
And it was about core confidence, and I read what confidence was. You know, you read in the magazines or your friends tell you be more confident. But I knew my confidence was on the ground more than most, because the thought that was left with me was like, how am I worthy if somebody could walk away and leave me? So I clicked on the video, I watched it, I wrote every word down, what confidence is, what the levels are. Like, I've done the same as you guys, and I still do the same thing. I watch the videos, I learn everything from it, and one of the biggest things that ladies have taught me is we share the same thing. We just get it, what you're saying, you know? So when I went on his website, you were doing an event down in London, and it was about confidence, wasn't it? And then I went to speak to Matthew, and again, he was bouncing from one side to the other. And it's like, this is amazing. And the ladies who I met there are the ladies who went to the retreat in Florida, and we're still friends to this day. And we're not friends because of what Matthew's connected us to, because the journey that we've experienced, and we're still experiencing, and I'm still tapping into Matthew's work today, because I still want to go to that next level and that next level.
So then so that kind of brings us to the retreat, because I remember a very specific moment on the retreat that you reminded me of. This home in Florida, there was like a mini kind of movie room. And Angela pulled me to one side and said, hey, let's have a chat. We went into the movie room, we sat down, one-on-one, and you can tell me if I'm paraphrasing correctly, but you had mentioned to me that when you were on a date, what the monologue that was constantly going through your mind is, he's not going to want me because I'm missing a limb.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
What happened next?
Before he got to that point, we sat in silence, and he said, I'm going to sit here until you tell me what it is. And I sat there, and then I crossed my arms in defiance. I was like, I'm not saying. And I couldn't say because I felt so sad about that. I couldn't say because it's a guy sitting in front of me. Like, can I say this? The one thing that's on my mind. And he just sat defiantly, and he's like, we're going to sit here all day. I was like, that fine. Scottish stubbornness was coming out quite badly. And in my head, I was thinking, he has to see other ladies. So the more you sit there, you're stopping him going to talk to the other ladies and allow them to have their moment to talk about things. But I just sat, I just couldn't say it. And then he said, there's nothing I haven't heard before, just that you've said this week. And I said it. I think I blurted it out. And he just said, in what? Just those simple words, like, in what? And all the things that I'd been carrying with myself, like, it was like, oh, you've been carrying this? You built it up to this big picture? It was like, in what?
I remember saying to you, I remember looking at you and saying, how arrogant are you? You remember that?
Yeah. I burst out laughing, like, yeah.
You
I never thought about it that way.
And I said, how arrogant are you? And she went like this. And then after like 30 seconds, just died laughing. Do you remember? Like, just in fits of laughter.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically Angela saying she started laughing and laughing and laughing. And I said, as she was laughing, I said, what, you need everyone to want you? Like, everyone you go on a date with has to fall in love with you and choose you? No one can reject you? Who are you? What, no one's allowed to say I don't want you? How arrogant is that? And she started just laughing and laughing and laughing. And she says, I know that is arrogant. And she started like, and it was this moment that I remembered that moment because of the phone call that you gave me. Because you then called me, this was what, you said 10 years ago, something like that?
Yeah.
You called me a few months ago. And tell everyone what you told me. By the way, I also remember a moment where Angela we were in the kitchen. You remember? And you fell over in the kitchen. And I was, go on.
So it's took me a while. So just to give you a heads up here, and with all you guys, this is pretty much the first time that I'm wearing a skirt with my legs out.
Wow.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Please. The Scottishness, no. But it was my mum at the back. And some of you might know my special story with my mum. Like, she's always gave me the confidence to, like, get out there and share it. And here I am. So I'm digressing. So when I went to Florida, it was all about the long dresses, something cardigan to hide my arm. And I thought it was like a fashion statement I was going with. But looking back, I was actually covering the insecurities, covering everything I could possibly do. And that morning, we were down to kitchen, and I'm trying to catch up with everybody else. And I remember Steve's in the kitchen. I remember Mum's in the corner at the top of the table, making sure everybody's okay. And Matthew came down, and I just went, I fell and my skirt went up. And I was like, oh no, hopefully my pants don't show. But I was more bored about my legs showing. I was more bored about that insecurity, that thing, like in Chris, you were talking about this week. See that thing that's holding you back, that thing that you don't want to talk about, that thing that's there. Like, see, as soon as you start talking about it, oh my God, your life will go like this. It's took me, like, come on, went to retreat 10 years. I took on his stuff. Then I kind of debated about, I'll take this little bit, but maybe not that little bit. And I'll take this little bit, maybe not that little bit. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. And as time was going on, I was like, yeah, this is taking a bit longer than everybody else. And then I thought, let's just do all of it. And all of it, again, my life opened up. And the story was the phone call that I shared with you.
So tell everyone what you told me, because this was one of the greatest phone calls I've had in these last 2 years.
Can I just share something about your mum before I go on?
Yeah.
So when I fell, I did make a kind of a scene. And the one person that came over to me was his mum. And she picked me up, and she could see that I spilled something on my dress. And I can't do an accent, so I won't. And she says, you go upstairs, get dressed, come back down, and I'll wash your dress. She washed my dress by hand, and she hung it up. And just by doing that little thing, like feeling embarrassed and feeling like so awkward, just by that beautiful action that she done, and it's not a big deal, touched me, and it still touched me to this day. Like, and as Matthew says, that's the way his mum is. Like, and the next day I wore the dress again because of his mum. So thank you. I'm digressing. Sorry. I think I take after you. So the thing was, leading up to this information I was going to share with Matthew was, how do I get the guy who goes all around the world? How do you reach out to the guy who's everywhere? So I thought, right, I'll send this email, but I don't know if you'll get it. I don't know if it'll even reach him, you know, like, and get the guy techniques, the techniques that he shares with you today. Now, if this is me, if that was there 10 years ago and this is here now, your life is going to be even more better than mine. Was I met a guy, and the second date, the first date was good. You went for a couple of hours, caught up. And the second date, as Matthew said, just put it on the table, just tell him what it is, like, get it over and done with. And I did. And I was so worried when I was going to tell this guy what my accident was and what scars I've got and what I wear, that he turned around and he said the same thing as Matthew. And what? And I knew then that this is the man for me. And within, was it because of what Matthew said, that this man had said this? Probably. But also what Matthew had taught me about myself. When I was sharing this with him, I remember before meeting up with him, if he doesn't like me for who I am, then stuff it. Like, I'll just keep going. I'll keep going. Like, it does. My worth doesn't define what his is. So the get the guy stuff, that works. So, and with all, if I'm standing here and you can see what I wear, my scars, the insecurities, any insecurities you've had, I've had it. Seen it, done it, got the picture. If I can get that, you can certainly get that. And then a few months later, we went to St Andrews, which is a beautiful place in Scotland. So we went on holiday, and he booked the honeymoon suite. And I was like, wow, like, nobody's ever done that for me. And I was like, this is amazing. He said, oh, it just so happened the hotel, that was the only room they had. I was like, wow, amazing. My mum knows. And then we go out for something to eat, and then he's really nervous. Like, at one point, he was shaking, and at one point he literally said, "Do you want to try this?" And when he said to try the food, it went and hit someone. It was like that bad, and I was thinking, I've still got it. It's like, no. And then he's like that, "I need to take you to St Andrews. It's a beautiful place up there, beautiful scenery." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do that under the stars. Beautiful." And then he's like, "Close your eyes, I've got a surprise for you." And I was like, "Okay." And then I'm closing my eyes, and this is 5 minutes later, and I'm thinking, I'm going to get murdered. It's like, I'm thinking the worst. And then he's like, "Close your eyes." And I was like, "Okay." And then walking with heels on sand with a prosthetic leg is really difficult. So I'm going down to the sand, and I'm like trying to walk sexy but slipping. It was like, but he thought it was cute. Wasn't really. And then I just was like, "Wow, this is so beautiful, and look at everything you can see." And then, "What are you doing down there?" And he proposed, and 6 months later, we were married. Because of you. I've got 2 more things to share. Just, I don't want to take your time up.
No, take my time up. Says you can run the day today.
I think my nerves are kind of disappeared now because I'm super excited now that I'm sharing this with you girls. Because see, all week, I've wanted to tell you things. I've wanted to come and sit with you, but I've had to kind of stay a wee bit, closed? You know, like, in case I slipped up and I'd shared this, you know, because I'm a bit of a gab. So another thing that I shared with Matthew was my story, the thing that I couldn't speak about, the thing that caused me most torment, the most thing that I was scared about. Again, this thing about the thing that's holding you back is now for me. Now I've spoke about it, Matthew got it out of me. I've now started my own charity, and I now help families and children who have been hurt by drunk and drug drivers. So, yeah. But I wouldn't have been able to do that if I hadn't experienced the retreat. I wouldn't have experienced that if I hadn't had the beautiful elephant hair presentation. I wouldn't have had to been able to do that if his mum's love and affection, like the way that she is with people, like I am like that now when I go and visit families, you know, just with a touch, or I'm not washing clothes. But and my beautiful mum in the corner as well, like her kindness and compassion and beauty and always been there for me, you know. I feel very lucky. But it's took all this time to get here. So I need to give this to you because I need to show you something. So one of the saddest things, thank you. So one of the saddest things about being in the accident, and what share this with you guys, is like getting told that this is not going to happen for you. Like you're not going to have your life. You're not going to. It's like Matthew was talking about the moment when you look back at your life and you don't have the people around you, or you don't have the things that you want. And I was told, because of the severity of my injuries, that I'm never going to have a child. I imagine that, like, you've always wanted to have a family and have a child, and to have that taken away from you, and to think, like, how do you console yourself with that? Like, I don't think I could, and lucky I've got the love of my lovely husband now and things like that. But Matthew wanted me to come out and talk, when was it, Christmas time, and sadly I had to go back into hospital for another operation. And my operation, it wasn't good, ladies. It was really hard, in fact. It was life-changing. Mummy, can you come and see this, Pauline? Pauline, Stephen, can you come and see this? I'm going to show you guys just in a minute, but I just want you to see this reaction, because their love and care for the retreat has brought, I'll let you share that with Mum and Dad. Yeah, like, I know, like, oh, so lovely. I know, so, I know. So the So I've got a wee baby girl now. I'm so pleased for you. I really hope nobody told you to spoil the surprise.
How did you not tell me that on the phone?
It was really hard. Like, it was really hard. I did have work. Well, I did say to him I had work on, and I did have work. But it was still that way, like, would it be safe to travel and things like that? And, but most importantly, like...
What's her name?
Hannah.
Hannah.
And she's so cute. It's like sometimes I look at her and I just think, wow, like, I carried you, like, amazing. And I think what I want to share with you, and I hope that you can all hear this, like, if you think, like, coming to the retreat or get the guy thing and you're thinking, it's not knitting, not getting it, I don't have my goals, I don't have this, or you might be thinking, this is what I want to do. It's funny how things just change, but they've changed because you've had this experience. And I'm not any different for you. My scars are different. My life experience is a bit different, but I'm just like you. I'm just like one of the girls. But I know, and I've came from Scotland, 2 flights away. I dragged my mum here. She's now burnt. Sorry, it's a lovely suntan. I've came this way because I want to tell you that this works. I was trying to think of a beautiful quote or something like that, but that's what I said to you on the phone. This works. There's no like sugarcoating it, there's no putting it a pretty bow, or if this is wanting your life to be better. And sometimes I started out thinking I wanted to go in this direction, it's took me to this direction. But I have fulfillment in my life in all areas, but I know that I'm going to have dips, and I've got tools now as well. Like, I feel boosted and I've got even more tools for my self-esteem and my confidence. But I know what I've learned from you, I'm going to teach Hannah. And what amazing little girl she's going to turn into. Do you know what I mean? So I want to say thank you for listening. Thank you, Pauline, Mummy Pauline. Thank you, Steve, for your amazing elephant, wherever he is. There he is. I'm with Mum there, and of course my mum, I love you. But the trailblazer, Matthew. Thank you. Love you, darling.
Ladies, please can we, because Angela did not need to come here this week and she has for us, can we give her a huge round of applause? Give it up for Angela, everybody!
I will always remember having coached Angela. She remains one of my dear friends today. By the way, I'm going to link up in the description where you can go and support Angela's cause if you want to, because she's doing amazing work right now alongside bringing up her beautiful family. If you want to go through the same process that transformed Angela's life, you have that opportunity in just 3 weeks. This, I think, is pretty much the final call for the live retreat in 2023. It's happening from the 9th of October until the 15th. It is the same 6-day process, albeit improved over many years, that Angela went through, that changed her life and enabled her to find love. And you can now experience it for yourself. Go to mhretreat.com to get your space now. We're down to the last handful, so this is it. Don't lose any more time. Come join us, and I'll see you in Florida in just a few weeks. I have something so exciting for you today, or actually someone so exciting. Louise Rowe.
Hi guys.
If you don't know Louise Rowe, you should. She's an old friend of mine, but she has...
Less of the old, Matt.
We go back. We go back a few years. We started on a show together called Plain Jane, which was Louise's show, a makeover show where Louise took these young ladies and transformed their confidence over a series of days. And I would come and help out on one of the days. And Louise accepted me, the lowly
Yeah. I like
person.
to think I gave Matt his big break.
Yeah, I was nothing. And Louise dragged me up and put me on the show. And and we ended up doing how many seasons? Like
4, I
Four
think.
seasons. And Louise has since gone on to do the red carpet for the Oscars on ABC. She's hosted Fashion Star, has been an incredibly successful individual, and her field is fashion. Yeah. And it's been an incredible journey for you, I know. And I'm so excited to have Louise here because we're not only going to be talking about tips for a first date when it comes to what you wear, but we actually have 3 outfits that you can wear on a first date to create massive attraction with the guys that you want and keep them coming back. So I'm really excited for you to see this. We actually have them. We're going to show them to you.
We do.
But before we do that, I want to jump into some just general tips for a first date. So Louise, you just this week came out with a book.
I did. I just happen to have a copy right here, Matt.
Right in the middle of us.
This is all the advice to every question I've ever been asked in my career in one place. And a huge part of that is confidence, dressing for confidence, and dressing for a first date. I believe very strongly that your outfit and your makeup and your hair does matter. First impressions are huge, whether you're going for a job interview or on a first date. And it should really express who you are on the inside. You know, It can make you feel more confident. It can make you even walk more upright and have fantastic body language and eye contact. If you feel fabulous, you will give off that awesome vibe. And that's what you want on a first date. You want to be the best version of you.
Yeah.
So it's not about becoming another character or thinking, oh, that's really fashionable. I should probably try and wear, you know, polka dot leggings or something. But actually to enhance your figure, enhance your character, and all the best parts of your personality.
I can't stand, there are almost 2 camps, I feel like. There's the camp where fashion is everything, where every bit of their confidence is based on external trappings. But then there's the other camp, which annoy me just as much, who say like, none of it matters. Like, you don't, just be you. You don't need to focus on that stuff. You just, like, whoever it is going to love you for who you are. But and you should be confident without that. And I always think it's really one-dimensional, because it does, I don't care who you are, it does have an impact. If you feel good in what you wear, same with your body. If you feel good in your body, if you feel like you've trained your body and you're healthy, you feel better about yourself. If you put on clothes that you enjoy wearing, or things that make you feel sexy, make you feel playful, or make you feel like you look good, you will exhibit that in your confidence.
I couldn't agree more. And I think also what you touched upon, some people think, well, fashion's not for me. That's for really wealthy people or really skinny people. And the whole point of me writing this was to say it's not. It's actually for everybody. Everyone can find their own unique style. I actually talk through a very practical guide of how to channel that and find that. Because when you go shopping, sometimes a department store is overwhelming. It's like a minefield. And you think, oh, what's going to suit me? And so I talk through body shape, which is the most important thing to focus on first. You'd be amazed at how few women ever stand in front of the mirror naked and look at themselves. It's
Why
not
is that? Because they don't like what they see.
It's not something you want to do. Who does? Listen, I could, maybe Giselle excluded, every single woman, including models that I know, have issues and problems. Nobody loves everything about themselves. But the point is to know where you go in and out. Are you a pear shape? Are you an hourglass? Are you very athletically built? And pick areas that you would rather skim over and hide a bit. Everyone's got them. And then pick areas, it might be your wrist or your décolletage, your legs, that you like, and you think, okay, those are going to be my selling points, and that's how I'm going to dress around my body. And trust me, you can change your silhouette. You can take 10 pounds off yourself. It's a lot more fun than dieting.
So if you're about to go on a first date, because we have some outfits for this, but before we even jump into that, how much effort do you think a woman should put into dressing for a first date?
That's such a good, the key word, effort, because ladies, I'm going to talk to you now. You want to look like you've put barely any effort in. A little bit. It's always nice to look like you've you want to look nice, but I think that that effortless glamour and effortless sexy chic is what we're all after, so that a guy assumes that you look like that every day from dawn till dusk, and he can't wait to just be with you forever because you're amazing.
Forever.
Forever.
So have this ability to convey that you haven't put in a ton of effort, but actually you really do look the part.
Yes, and I mentioned earlier, it's about being the best version of yourself. So if you never wear red lipstick, this is not the time to suddenly try it. P.S. specifically red lipstick is known to be a kiss turn-off, so I wouldn't go down that road.
Why is that?
Well, because it's messy. I mean, you're a guy. The thought, I think, even subconsciously, of leaning in and kissing bright red lipsticks that you know it's going to come off all over your mouth, you think, oh,
yeah,
maybe
true.
not. So I
also
go for much more neutral.
Sometimes
natural.
I feel like red lipstick as well, this may be a personal thing, but it feels like someone's really trying hard to stand out. When a guy's on a first date with you, he's not looking for like the whole room to be looking over. I feel like for the same reason, most guys don't want a woman to wear something that's really loud on a first date.
Exactly, but there's a balance because you want to turn his head. So it's important to stand out to an extent, and then no jazz hands. And I think that red lipstick can be quite femme fatale. It's almost aggressive in a very sexy, glamorous way. I'm all for red lips in other scenarios. But same with your clothes. You want to wear an outfit that you've at least road tested before. The worst thing you can do is buy a new pair of heels, wear them for the first time on that date, and they're killing you. So when he suggests going for a romantic walk by the river, you are like, oh, every step hurts. Ditto if you wear a really tight dress that it might give you this amazing little waist, but if you're sitting at dinner and you just can't even eat anything because everything's not feeling very comfortable.
You can't
totally.
Eat? Really?
And then I'm sure you'd agree, there's nothing sexier than sharing a meal and, oh, can I try that? It's very sexy. And if you're that girl who's like, I can't or I won't, you want to be the most easygoing, carefree, fun version of yourself, and that means wearing something equally as easy. It could still be sexy and fitted, but don't go for some kind of lace-up corset. If you're gonna wear the support underwear, which is fine as well because that gives a great silhouette, just make sure you've walked around in them beforehand and they're not so uncomfortable you can't breathe.
So how much, what's your philosophy on how much you should show?
Okay. Sexy to me means one or the other, legs or a bit of cleavage, not both. And I'm really adamant about that. It is important not to show everything off at once. And I think some of the sexiest dresses I've ever seen are quite covered up. You've got to leave something to the imagination. And like I said earlier, what's the best part of your body? If it's your waist, then you want to wear a brilliant kind of A-line skirt with a tiny belt. Or if it's your décolletage, then a slightly off the shoulder or an open shirt. Pick your best bit and let that shine.
I also feel like that when you're wearing too little, there's something unconscious for a guy that a lot of guys say, well, is this the way that she gets her validation? Is this the way that she gets her attention? And rightly or wrongly, I think that's an issue because you want to look like you show up and everything shines for you. Your personality is what attracts people to you. Your energy is what attracts people to you. Your beauty in general, as opposed to I have to overcompensate by wearing as little as possible because everything else isn't firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, good point. I think preparation's key too, and I give this advice if you're going for a job interview. It works in all scenarios. You don't want the added stress of trying on outfits last minute and thinking, oh God, I thought that was going to look like this, but it doesn't work. So put an hour aside the week before, the day before, and just try on a few things. Get a very honest friend over. It can be fun too, but don't feel like, oh, I'm going over the top. He doesn't know you're doing any of that. This is the whole effortlessness about it.
Yeah, he doesn't know most of what you've done.
Exactly. And I'm going to add to that. I'd say get yourself a very light spray tan or do a slight tinted moisturizer a couple of days before. Don't do that the day before or the day of because it will go too dark, right? You want to have 1 or 2 showers in between. It gets specific. If you've never tried false eyelashes, I think that the smaller ones, not the va-va-voom J-Lo ones, the smaller ones, you can actually get half lashes, super cheap. are amazing. They open up the eye without having to wear too much makeup. And my biggest tip is don't put mascara over them. It was actually a tip I learnt on set years ago, and so they look very natural. Again, this is something you definitely want to test run the week before. Do not do it for the first time as you're running out the house.
We'll have to cut that out, Jameson, because we just talked about this last week. So
I can see your lashes are fantastic.
This was last week's tip. We're going over old ground with the mascara on top of it.
Sorry, Matt. Sorry. Been there, done that.
So, okay, let's jump, because we have outfits for you. We didn't just come here for general tips. We actually have outfits for you that Louise has selected. Louise, take us through what you have for us.
Okay, I've got 3 completely different date outfits that are irresistible to men. You ready?
This is perfect.
First up, know where you're going. Are you going to a shishi restaurant after work? Are you going paintballing? Are you going to the beach? And I think that people forget to dress for the environment. It's even worth having a quick Google search of the bar you're going to, because you might have thought it's 5-star hotel. It turns out to be a sports bar, right?
Yeah,
so just think, oh, okay, people in that picture are
because you don't want to spend your whole date self-conscious because you dressed up, you came overdressed.
Exactly. So a lot of date nights are straight after work, and you want to think, how can I parlay my workwear? Well, I absolutely swear by the high-waisted pencil skirt for any work event and also for dates. I think it's sexy. 9 times out of 10, it will absolutely flatter every figure.
These are really hot. Bums look really big. Not big. Well, some look big in this.
Curves look
but they look really bums look Freudian slip, Jameson. No, bums look amazing in these.
Here's my top tip. Buy them a little longer than you think. So high-waisted is always going to make your waist look smaller if the waistline sits at your belly button or just above it. And then instead of having it finish above the knee, have it finish just below the knee. Even if you're petite, you just wear a nice heel with it. This will give, think about J-Lo, Victoria Beckham, a lot of these very ladylike, polished women will wear skirts like this. Now, the best part about this one, it's leather. Leather's sexy, right?
I thought you meant like durable. You can
That was
spank
me slapping bottom.
Yeah. The good part about this is you can spank someone in it.
Exactly.
No.
That's what I was thinking.
No, stay classy.
Stay classy. But I like the colour of this one too. I do actually. I've got one in bright blue. But I think for a date, this blush, apart from being bang on trend right now, is actually a little bit softer and sexier with a bit of a tan. Now, I would wear this with a very simple crisp white shirt or a plain cashmere thin sweater, something fitted, even a white t-shirt if you're going for that kind of young and edgy look.
The funny thing is, if you asked me what was, what's a hot first date outfit for a woman, I wouldn't think of this because it just wouldn't come to mind. But this is genuinely one of the outfits I find women hottest in.
There you go, see? And you want to wear one always with a heel, okay? If there's ever a time for a flat shoe, I'll say it, but this is a high heel look. So this is actually an example. Can you hold that?
That is really hot.
Thank you. These are great for going straight from the office to your date. They're closed toe, so they're perfectly suitable and formal enough for work. But what I love about them is the lace detail down the side. So suddenly, boom, they're a bit sexy. They're perfect for the evening. And I think there's something very hot about a closed toe pointed stiletto heel. It's just femme fatale. It's
this is really hot.
You're
Jameson's sweating back there.
So you've got your high heel, you've got your sexy pencil skirt. That means you can keep the top very simple. Could be a thin cashmere sweater, roll the sleeves up. It could be a shirt with the sleeves again rolled up. There's no need to wear a super low cut top with this because the rest of the outfit is hot enough.
When you say you can parlay straight from work to this, my theory is on getting ready, there's a kind of a tipping point where if you go past it, you've taken too long and you'll start to get self-conscious and nervous. So there's like an optimal time where you put enough time into getting ready that you look good, but not so much time that you're overly focused on the way you look and now you're looking for all of these imperfections.
Exactly right.
So to me, a great first date is when you go straight from work because then your focus, it's almost like if you've already been in an outfit for half a day, you're not thinking about the outfit anymore.
Practicality of real life is you're in the office, you're in a board meeting, you may well take off the blazer you were wearing at work and just roll the sleeves up of your shirt, maybe unbutton one more button, add a little bit of kohl eyeliner, smudge it, you know what I'm talking about, ladies.
I love this.
Make the eyes a little bit smokier.
Yeah.
And you are suddenly sexy, board meeting girl to first date hottie.
I really like this one. This is
Good.
going to be hard to top for me.
Oh, wait for it. The absolute quintessential date dress is a red dress. Statistically, red is the colour that men will run and flirt with you more than any other colour.
We like fish.
Well, it's pretty easy. You guys
We
are
like
pretty easy
fish.
creatures.
Just
It's not
shiny
that
object.
you want to make him jealous and have other heads turning in the bar, but if that happens, he might just realise how lucky he is to be on a date with you. To me, this is one of my favourite shapes of dress. It's a halter neck. Don't know if you knew that. This is a halter neck. So it goes around the neck and it cuts away at the sides of the chest, just enough to be a bit sexy, show off the shoulders. There's no cleavage, so it's not over the top.
So go on halter.
A halter neck,
Okay.
yeah. I think it's really gorgeous. You might want to put a little bit of shimmer, just a little bit, on your arms and shoulders. It makes that skin have that dewy kind of sparkly quality. Again, I'd wear this with a simple heel.
What sort of date would you wear this for?
This is definitely more of your city restaurant. There's
Hotel
music
lobby
going
bar,
on.
something like
yeah,
that, cool restaurant.
It's a cocktail. You're going out for cocktails. You might end up dancing later. It's
Okay.
definitely the most jazzy and va-va-voom of all the options. But a red dress is killer.
I like it.
Like it?
I do. What do you say to the women who say, that's, for me, I feel like I'd need to be more confident to wear that? What's the key to getting them over that?
The key is it's all up here and you have to try it on. That is actually not a very tight dress at all. It's actually quite loose, and I think you don't have to be in this kind of bodycon dress or mini skirt. The idea is red. The shape was halter neck. If you wanted to wear a long one or even an off-the-shoulder, one-shoulder top and jeans that was red, I think that the idea is to wear a bright colour and own it. You've got to feel comfortable in it though, and if you can't bear getting your legs out, then go for something longer.
Okay.
You do want to feel comfortable, but don't hide away. This is your moment.
That's why I think, you must resist the urge to hide and not be seen.
Yeah.
Because ultimately you're on a date because you want him to see you.
And you're on a date because he's asked you on a date.
Correct.
So you deserve to be there. Last but not least, this is a very low-key daytime outfit. Sometimes the simplest looks, I think, are the sexiest. Summer's around the corner. A pair of cut-off denim shorts. These are mine. I wear them pretty low slung and actually wore them on one of my favourite ever Valentine's dates, believe it or not. And it was at a very low-key sports bar. I played games like Pac-Man, I ate nachos, I drank margaritas, and it was the most romantic night ever because I was just having fun. And I think that an outfit that lets you laugh your head off, do practical jokes, have a giggle is the sexiest version of you. I wouldn't necessarily wear them with flip-flops though. I think you're still on a date, you might want a cute little sandal, a pop of colour. These aren't very high, they're kind of fabulous, but not a crazy stiletto, but just a slightly raised sandal will always give you a better posture. A heel is such a sexy thing, it changes the way you walk. So a bit cuter than flip-flops, unless you are actually going to the beach. Fringing is a huge trend at the moment. I've got to touch on some fun trends, and this is a really fun little tie-dye top. It's that festival chic, and I think that if you guys are going to a summer concert or a picnic or a barbecue, this is just a really cute laid-back outfit. A shoulder bag, just like this, crossbody. It's the kind of date look where you'll be that laid-back, cool chick having fun, and don't forget the big shades. Is it time for a beer?
That's good. This is good. I like this. This is
very
cute.
different, but you've got to dress accordingly to where you're going and what you're feeling. So you've got your essential for your romantic dinner, and that is your pencil skirt. Your va-va-voom killer red dress for dancing all night, ain't going home till 3 in the morning. This one is your relaxed, carefree summer, chilling at a concert, Coachella vibes.
You could wear this in his back garden for a picnic, or at Coachella, or at a festival.
Beach.
Or at the beach.
There you got it.
These are really good. I actually like all of these, and normally I hate clothes that women choose.
Really?
Like, you know when you get a stylist and they choose clothes, and it's like they chose clothes that other women like, but it's all high fashion stuff, and it's stuff that guys don't like.
There's a little bit of fashion in here, but really this is about the woman feeling confident first and foremost, and then we want to appeal to what the guys might like too.
Do you think guys don't like crazy, like out there stuff, do they? They like relatively simple.
I think keep it simple, but show off your body to its best and wear what you feel confident in.
I really like this stuff. I think this is good. Louise Rowe, this is what we do. This is what happens when we're with Louise.
This is what we do!
Louise. So Louise has actually put all of this in one place. I said to Louise before this video, here it is. I said to Louise before this video, like, what are the biggest things that you can actually get from this book? And you said there were 3 things. I think the first was confidence, right?
The subtitle is How to Be the Leading Lady in Your Own Life, which I think is very apt. How to be kinder to yourself and just how to basically figure out that you rock and you're the top of your own list.
Because so much of confidence is actually looking after you, and part of how you dress and how you look is it's another way of looking after yourself.
Absolutely.
So the first was confidence. What did you say the second was? I think it was versatility, right? The ability to dress for any different occasion.
Exactly. I, over the years, get asked all these questions. How do I dress for prom, an interview, a date, a wedding, as a guest, or even as the bride? All of that is answered.
So that was the second thing. And then the third thing you said, this one really struck a chord with me. You said the insider secrets that you have learned from being in the fashion industry and being in this world of entertainment for many years now.
Yeah.
That struck a chord with me because even as a guy, doing TV now for, I don't know, 5-6 years, and being in the media and having all these opportunities to see how things work behind the scenes, even as a guy, allowed me to up my game because I saw these little things that people do where I was like, oh, so that's how people look good all the time. So that struck a chord with me. I think that's an amazing one.
It's shortcuts and tricks and things that make you go, oh, no way. And whether that's a tip from a makeup artist or even an interior designer, there's a lot about making your home the right environment. I want to share that stuff because it's not fair if I just keep it to myself.
So this is in the book. We have, the book is really pretty, by the way. It's called Front Row. Go get yourself a copy. Louise is a dear friend of mine. You know I don't do this often. In fact, I don't think we ever do this, do we, Jameson? We barely ever in this whole blog have talked, maybe once, talked about someone else's book. But Louise is a dear friend, and this I think is really, really exciting. I want you to go and grab a copy. And Louise has helped me a lot along the way in terms of my fashion sense and what I've done with my own image.
Look, I mean, just look, the results.
Just look at me.
Right?
I mean,
they speak for themselves.
You didn't dress me today, though, did you?
I didn't.
No, don't say it like that. Go get yourself a copy, and I thank you. Will you come back again sometime?
Absolutely, and I can't wait to see what everyone wears on their first dates. Can they send in photos?
Oh, we should do that. All right, here's what we'll do. Underneath this video is going to be a link for the book, okay? And we'll put it up at the end of the video as well, so you can link right through and buy it now, because it's available right now. It just came out this week, brand new. Then I want you to do this. Take a picture before you go on your first date. And what should we hashtag? Let's hashtag front row.
Yes, then we can see.
Yeah, I love
Awesome.
that. Put my name in it as well so I can see them and get tagged and look at the pictures. And we'll retweet some of the amazing ones and we'll put it out.
And I can give you advice if you need a quick question
last
minute.
Oh God, this is getting better.
This is literally, these ideas are coming to us right now live,
this is real.
as you can probably tell.
So they'll hashtag you, comment on what you think of it. I'll comment as well from this, ignorant, naive male perspective. And it will be brilliant.
I love that.
This will be so much fun. Maybe we'll even do a blog. Like, we'll get Steve to write a blog with all the pictures together. That would be amazing. All right, great. I love this. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you soon. Go get the book. Love you. Bye. I was literally just walking over to the magazine rack over there, and that's why this was what I saw. Scene. Louise Rowe, a fashion star is born. This is like Inception. An interview within an interview. I know what you're asking yourself. Why the tie in this video? The button-down jacket? The pocket square? It's Mother's Day, and my mum likes me to dress nice. By the way, it's US Mother's Day, not UK Mother's Day, which means technically, Mum, you get 2 now. But welcome to Mother's Day. This is going to be a little celebration video of mothers everywhere. We decided recently to shoot a video for our Fast Track members that was a 90-minute coaching session with 3 single mums who all came to me with their honest, vulnerable situations as single mums out there in modern dating. I talked to them about the obstacles they faced, the shrinking dating pool, them feeling like it's tough to have the conversation with men about being a single mum, and feeling like they don't have enough time. So many of the issues they were facing were also issues faced by other women with different circumstances. So although the full interview has gone up in the members area, I wanted to take a piece of this and give it to you guys. So I'm excited for you to meet Susie, Julie, and Sarah. I hope you love them as much as I do. And once again, happy Mother's Day. Being a single mum comes with its own challenges. I'm interested in what those challenges are, and also I think by listening to these challenges, people who aren't a mum will still relate to them because they can relate to their own thing that they feel like is a barrier.
Dating's different now than it was when I did it before. I was married for 16 years, so it's like I still don't feel like I really know what I'm doing.
Right. That's a lot of change for anybody, I think, when they come out into the world and all of a sudden they find themselves single, to then go and date.
Right, and I don't think I've really figured out how to capitalize on the opportunities that are out there, because I'm much more of an in real life person. I don't do really well with the whole online thing because I don't have the patience for, like, I don't want to text you for like a month. I don't want to email. I don't want to, like, let's have coffee, and if you like it, great. If we like each other, great. If we don't, no harm, no foul.
Because being a mum entails this big responsibility of, I'm not only potentially working, I'm also finding time for my children and to raise them and to help them with their homework, and all these different things that you do must on some level make you feel a little less tolerant of the endless back and forth exchanges.
Well, and then the other challenge that I run into, as you said, is there's a lot of guys out there who are very interested, but they want to call you up on Thursday at 7:30 and be like, what are you doing tomorrow? And I'm like, I have 3 kids. I can't, it's like I need a little more advanced planning. Like, I'd love to be spontaneous, but I can't.
Have you guys had that experience?
I don't have that experience because I have shared custody. I have 50-50. Mine is a little bit different. So I have like every other weekend. And so I have like 2 hats. Like I have the mom hat, and I'm all about the mom and the kids. It's like all of a sudden, I don't have my twin boys. I'm just like, I can do whatever I want. I can be here, I can go to the beach, I can sleep in. So it's like quite a duality. But it's hard not to live in the moment, and then hard to, I don't know, I have a hard time.
So you feel like you jump in and out?
I do, I don't know, I'm all over the place.
But it's because you were dating someone, or you have been dating someone that's younger?
I was been dating since July, and he's 12 years younger.
Right.
And we had a ball.
There's the amazing feeling of being with that person, but do you find that there is a kind of, it's hard to fully enjoy it if in the back of your mind somewhere there's this feeling of this is temporary?
Yeah, there is now, but there wasn't. There was like a shift, so we were just having fun, and there was a shift, and then I just went for it. I was like, there's a cliff, I'm gonna jump. I'm just gonna go with it.
I always remember when I would go to my mum and I'd say, I don't know if this person's like the person. My mum she was kind of schizophrenic in her advice, because she'd be like, oh, just have fun. Are you enjoying it? Are you having fun in the relationship? And I'd be like, well, yeah, I mean, a lot of the time I am, yeah. She'd go, then just enjoy it. But what would happen is I'd say, okay, I get what you're saying, Mum, but if this person isn't the right person, and on some level I know that now, am I not just wasting time? If this person isn't the right person, isn't it better that I let them go today instead of continue to go down that path where there's more pain for both of us? And she'd go, well, if you don't feel like she's the one and blah, 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 then maybe you should break up with her. And I'd be like, well, you just told me something completely different 5 minutes ago. That to me is like this sort of struggle that we all go through.
So Matthew, here's the question for you. Do you follow your heart or do you follow your brain?
Well, I think that's a great question, but I think it's an oversimplification. I would say my heart 30 years from now was time traveling to today and saying, hey, listen, Matt, there's heartache coming because this person's not the right person. So even though this feels good right now and it feels like your heart right now, it's not.
I just started to push myself, go out and do these activities, because before that I was like, oh, I just enjoy my free time. Because I'm now, I don't have to deal with the ex, and then I'm free of all the arguments and depressed of life. So I actually enjoyed a couple of years of freedom. But then you feel like that's not enough, you know? I need something happier, you know, for yourself. And then I think going out, do those activities and connect with people is a great start.
So that's great. So let's get, and we'll go around, because I think this is useful. I want us to be really realistic, because too many people, you know, either tell me I have no time, which is bullshit, or they say, from now on, I'm going to go out there for an hour every day and blah, blah, blah. And I also know that's bullshit. So for you, you know, it's not enough just to say, what do I enjoy doing with my free time? Because if you have a bigger goal of, I'd like to meet someone, then you have to find a way, at least for some of that time, for the activities that will help.
Make life
Where
much
was Matthew
easier,
Hussey
right?
when I was in my 20s?
I know.
Thank you. That's very sweet. It means the world to me, really. And happy Mother's Day. Thank you. Yeah, of course. That was the reason we decided all to get together. So happy Mother's Day, and happy Mother's Day to all the other women out there as well. I know that there are plenty of mums out there who are watching this video right now. Happy Mother's Day to you. I wanted this to be a kind of celebration of mums everywhere, and also to be a celebration of anyone who plays the role of a mum. You know, not everyone has children, but many, many women out there play the role of a mum to somebody. My mum, you know, is my best friend in the world, but she has been a mum to many different people in some capacity over the course of her life. And, you know, I believe she was being a mum way before she had kids. So I wish you all an incredible day, and thank you ladies for being here with me. It means the world to me, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.